Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into something that affects all of us as we grow older: relationships and the people we surround ourselves with. As we age, life gives us the gift of experience, but it also reveals the truth about the people in our lives. Not everyone around us has our best interests at heart, and it's crucial to recognize that. In today's video, we're going to explore 5 key behaviors of people who don't genuinely care about you. Understanding these behaviors can help you protect your peace, strengthen the relationships that truly matter, and let go of those that are holding you back. So, let's jump right in. 1. They dismiss your feelings. Let's be real, our emotions matter. As we age, the feelings we carry are often deep, filled with memories of everything we've experienced: the love, the struggles, the triumphs. And when we share those feelings, we're not just seeking advice or a solution, we're seeking connection. Yet one of the most painful behaviors we can experience is having those emotions dismissed by the people we trust. It's hurtful when you open up about something deeply personal, maybe a health worry or a fear that's been bothering you, and the person you turn to responds with something dismissive like, "You're overthinking it," or "Oh, it'll be fine, don't worry." In those moments, it's like having a door slammed in your face. You don't feel heard. Worse, you start to question yourself. You wonder if maybe you are being too sensitive or dramatic. You might even stop sharing your emotions altogether, convincing yourself they're not important. Here's the thing: your feelings are important. Every emotion you experience, every fear, every hope is a testament to your journey. They deserve to be respected, even if the person you're talking to doesn't completely understand them. People who care about you don't need to understand every emotion, they just need to be there, to listen, to share the moment with you. The truth is, people often dismiss others' feelings not because they're cruel, but because they don't know how to handle vulnerability. Emotions can feel messy and uncomfortable for some people, and instead of embracing them, they shut down or push them away. But that doesn't make it any less hurtful, especially when it comes from someone you love: family, friends, caregivers. These are the people you hope will understand and make you feel seen. So, what should you do if someone in your life constantly dismisses your feelings? Start by setting boundaries. Let them know how their words affect you. You can say something like, "It hurts when you say things like that. I need someone who listens and takes my feelings seriously." If they aren't willing to change, it might be time to reevaluate that relationship. Remember, the people who genuinely care about you will never make you feel like your feelings are a burden. They'll be there, even if they don't have all the answers, simply because they value you. 2. They only show up when it's convenient for them. Next up, let's talk about the people who treat our presence like an option rather than a priority. Relationships naturally evolve as we get older. Some grow deeper, while others fade away, and that's just a part of life. But there's a painful truth: some people in our circle are only there when it's easy or convenient for them. They're the ones who show up when they need something. Maybe they need advice, money, or just a shoulder to cry on. But when the tables turn and you're the one in need, suddenly they're too busy, they disappear, or they make excuses. It's a hard realization, especially as we grow older, because let's face it, aging brings its own set of challenges: loneliness, health concerns, and reflections on a lifetime of experiences. In those moments, we need our support system more than ever. But these fair-weather friends are nowhere to be found when things get tough. The most difficult part about dealing with these people is the hope we often hold on to. We hope they'll be there for us, that they just don't realize what they're doing. But the truth is, patterns rarely lie. If someone is consistently absent when you need them but always around when they need you, it's time to face that truth. Their actions come from a place of self-interest, not genuine care. Now, I know it's easier said than done to let these people go. Maybe they've been in your life for years. Maybe there's history there. But holding on to one-sided relationships only keeps you stuck in a cycle of giving without receiving. And that's not fair to you. At this stage of life, you deserve relationships that nourish your spirit rather than drain it. Think about the people who are always there, not because they want something, but just because they care. The ones who check in just to see how you're doing, who value your presence, not just what you can give. Those are the relationships worth keeping, and they're the ones that will bring joy and comfort to your golden years. 3. They make you feel small. Another behavior to watch out for is when someone consistently makes you feel small. It's subtle sometimes. Maybe they roll their eyes when you share a story, or they downplay your accomplishments with a dismissive comment like, "Oh, that's nothing special." It might not seem like a big deal in the moment, but over time, those little digs add up, chipping away at your confidence and making you doubt yourself. Life, especially as we get older, should be about celebrating every little thing, every achievement, every new hobby, every memory that brings us joy. But when someone makes you feel like those things don't matter, it casts a shadow over your happiness. Imagine you've picked up a new hobby, gardening, painting, knitting, and you share it with someone close to you. Instead of sharing in your excitement, they brush it off, saying something like, "Anyone can do that." That kind of response doesn't just hurt in the moment, it lingers. It plants a seed of doubt that can make you question whether what you're doing is even worth it. But here's what I want you to remember: your accomplishments, no matter how big or small, are worth celebrating. They're a reflection of your unique spirit, your passions, your journey. You deserve to be around people who recognize that, who uplift you and celebrate you for everything that makes you, you. People who try to make others feel small often do so because of their own insecurities. They're threatened by your happiness, and instead of addressing their own issues, they try to dim your light to make themselves feel better. It's not about you, it's about them. But that doesn't mean you have to put up with it. If you find yourself around someone who consistently makes you feel small, it's time to set some boundaries. Limit your interactions with them if you can. Focus instead on the people who lift you up, who celebrate your wins with you, no matter how big or small. When you surround yourself with people who encourage you to shine, life becomes so much more joyful. Alright, that's it for part 1. We've covered 3 important behaviors: dismissing your feelings, only showing up when it's convenient, and making you feel small. Recognizing these behaviors can be tough, but it's an important step in ensuring you surround yourself with people who genuinely care. Stick around for part 2, where we'll dive into more behaviors to watch out for and how to protect your peace. 4. They trivialize your struggles. Moving on, let's talk about another common behavior that people who don't truly care about you exhibit: they trivialize your struggles. We all face challenges, whether they're related to our health, relationships, or simply adapting to the changes that life brings with age. These struggles are real, and they deserve to be acknowledged. However, there are people who, instead of offering support, choose to minimize your experiences and act as if what you're going through is not a big deal. Imagine opening up to someone about a health issue you're worried about. You might be feeling vulnerable and scared, hoping to find comfort or understanding, but instead, you hear something like, "It's probably nothing. You're worrying too much." Or maybe you're struggling with loneliness, and they brush it off with, "Just keep yourself busy, you'll be fine." These kinds of responses can be incredibly invalidating. They make you feel like your pain doesn't matter, as if what you're feeling isn't worth their time or attention. The problem with trivializing someone's struggles is that it leaves you feeling alone, as though no one understands or cares about what you're going through. It sends the message that your problems are insignificant, and over time, this can cause you to doubt your own emotions. You may even convince yourself that you're being dramatic, or that you shouldn't feel the way you do, which only makes it harder to seek the support you need. The truth is, your struggles, whatever they are valid. Just because someone else may not see them as significant doesn't mean they aren't real and important. Pain isn't a competition, what matters is how it affects you. The people who truly care about you will recognize that. They'll understand that, even if they can't solve your problems, just being there for you, truly being present and listening, can make all the difference. If you find yourself surrounded by people who frequently dismiss your challenges, it's important to protect your emotional well-being. Set boundaries where needed, and seek out relationships where you feel heard and understood. Real friends won't brush aside your struggles, they'll sit with you in those difficult moments, even if they can't change anything. They'll remind you that you're not alone, and that is something truly invaluable. 5. They take more than they give. Now let's talk about another behavior that's unfortunately all too common: People who consistently take more than they give. Relationships are about give and take, they're about mutual support and care. But when a relationship becomes one-sided, where one person is always giving and the other is always taking, it can leave you feeling used and undervalued. Maybe you have a friend or family member who always seems to need something from you. They're quick to ask for favors, need your time, energy, or even financial help. But when the tables are turned, and you need them, whether it's for support, a listening ear, or a helping hand, they're nowhere to be found. These relationships can be incredibly draining. You might even start to feel like your only role in their life is to be there when they need something, and that your own needs aren't important to them. The problem with this kind of dynamic is that it can take a serious toll on your emotional and mental well-being. Constantly giving without receiving anything in return leaves you exhausted, both physically and emotionally. Over time, you may start to feel resentful, but at the same time, you might find it hard to step back, especially if you care deeply about the person. It's a difficult place to be, but it's important to recognize when a relationship is no longer healthy. The people who truly care about you will understand that relationships are a two-way street. They won't just show up when they need something, they'll be there for you, too. They'll recognize the importance of giving back, of showing you that they value your time, energy, and love. If you find yourself in a relationship where you're constantly giving without receiving, it's time to set some boundaries. It doesn't mean you stop caring, but it does mean you need to care for yourself first. Your time and energy are precious, and they should be treated as such. Surround yourself with people who make an effort to be there for you, who value your presence, and who appreciate everything you do for them. These are the relationships that will enrich your life, not drain it. It's never too late to prioritize your well-being and seek out connections that are balanced and fulfilling. Choosing yourself. Recognizing these behaviors in the people around you can be painful, especially when it involves someone you care deeply about. But it's important to remember that you deserve to be surrounded by people who value you for who you are, who lift you up rather than bring you down. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries where they're needed, and letting go of relationships that no longer serve your well-being. Life is too short to spend it surrounded by people who don't see your worth. You've spent years giving your love, your time, and your energy to others, and you deserve that same love and care in return. It's okay to walk away from relationships that drain you. It's okay to prioritize your own needs and surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. The people who genuinely care about you won't make you feel small, dismissed, or taken for granted. They'll show up not only when it's easy, but also when it's hard. They'll give as much as they take, and they'll be there to support you, no matter what. Those are the relationships that are worth holding on to. If you've recognized any of these behaviors in your relationships, take a moment to reflect on how they're impacting you. Are you feeling drained, unheard, or unappreciated? If so, it might be time to make a change. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You deserve relationships that bring you joy, comfort, and support, relationships that make your life better. Alright, that's it for part 2. We've covered 2 more behaviors to watch out for: trivializing your struggles and taking more than they give. These behaviors can be incredibly damaging, but recognizing them is the first step toward making positive changes in your life. Stick around for part 3, where we'll continue exploring more behaviors to look out for and how to build healthier relationships moving forward. 6. They undermine your confidence. Another harmful behavior that people who don't truly care about you often display is undermining your confidence. As we get older, we accumulate years of wisdom, experience, and accomplishments. We've faced challenges, celebrated successes, and learned valuable lessons along the way. Yet, there are people who seem to take every opportunity to make you doubt yourself, to undermine your confidence, and to make you feel like you're less than you are. Maybe it's subtle comments, the kind that make you question yourself. Are you sure that's a good idea? Or I don't think you can handle that. These kinds of remarks can plant seeds of doubt, and over time, they grow into full-blown insecurities. Perhaps you're excited about trying something new, and instead of supporting you, they point out every possible way it could go wrong. Their intention may not seem outright cruel, but the effect is the same. They make you feel like you're not capable, that your choices aren't valid, or that you don't know what's best for yourself. The truth is, you've lived a lifetime, and you have every reason to trust yourself and your abilities. Whether it's a small goal or a larger aspiration, the things you want for yourself are valid, and your capacity to achieve them is real. People who genuinely care about you will uplift you. They'll encourage you to pursue your goals and try new things, even if they don't fully understand or agree with them. They'll cheer you on, not tear you down. If you're around someone who makes you feel like you can't do anything right, it's important to recognize what's happening. Are they genuinely concerned, or are they projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you? Often, people who undermine others do so because they feel insecure about their own abilities. Your growth and your confidence may make them uncomfortable, so instead of supporting you, they try to bring you down to their level. No matter their reasons, it's crucial to protect your confidence. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, who remind you of your strengths, and who encourage you to take risks and pursue your passions. You deserve to be around people who make you feel capable, not people who make you question your every move. 7. They make everything about themselves. Have you ever tried to share something important with someone, only for them to immediately turn the conversation back to themselves? It's frustrating and hurtful, especially when you're trying to express your feelings or share something meaningful. People who consistently make everything about themselves are not showing genuine care or interest in you. Instead, they use every opportunity to center themselves, their experiences, and their needs. Imagine you're trying to talk about something you're struggling with. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, lonely, or unsure about something. Instead of listening, they interrupt with, "Oh, that reminds me of when or you think that's bad. Let me tell you what happened to me." Suddenly, the conversation is no longer about you, it's all about them. Your feelings are pushed aside, and you're left feeling invisible, as if your experiences don't matter. This behavior is a clear indicator that the person isn't truly invested in your well-being. They're more interested in using you as an audience for their own stories and concerns rather than offering you the support you need. This can be especially painful when it's someone you care about deeply, someone you hoped would be there for you during your tough times. The people who truly care about you will listen when you speak. They won't interrupt to make it about themselves. They'll ask questions, show empathy, and offer their support without needing to shift the focus. If you find that someone in your life consistently makes every conversation about themselves, it's worth reconsidering how much energy you invest in that relationship. You deserve to be heard, to have your experiences acknowledged, and to feel like you matter. 8. They disregard your boundaries. Another important behavior to watch out for is when someone disregards your boundaries. Boundaries are essential for any healthy relationship. They define what you're comfortable with, what you need, and how you expect to be treated. When someone ignores or disrespects those boundaries, it's a clear sign that they don't truly care about your well-being. Maybe you've asked someone not to bring up a certain topic because it's painful for you, and they continue to bring it up anyway. Or perhaps you've expressed the need for space, but they keep pushing, ignoring your requests. Disregarding boundaries isn't just disrespectful, it's a way of showing that they don't value your needs or feelings. It's as if they're saying, "What I want is more important than what you need." People who care about you will respect your boundaries, even if they don't fully understand them. They'll honor your requests because they care about your comfort and well-being. If someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, it's a sign that they don't have your best interests at heart. It's okay to set firm limits with people who refuse to respect you. In fact, it's necessary for your own emotional health. Setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if you're used to putting others first. But it's important to remember that your needs are just as valid as anyone else's. You deserve to feel safe and respected in your relationships. If someone can't respect your boundaries, then they're not truly valuing you as a person, and it may be time to reconsider their place in your life. 9. They guilt trip you. Guilt is a powerful tool, and some people use it to manipulate others into doing what they want. If someone in your life is constantly making you feel guilty, whether it's for not spending enough time with them, not doing them a favor, or simply prioritizing your own needs, it's a red flag. Guilt tripping is a form of emotional manipulation, and it's a clear sign that the person doesn't truly care about you in a healthy, supportive way. Maybe you've decided to take some time for yourself, and they respond with, "I guess I'll just be alone, but that's okay. I'm used to it." Or perhaps you say no to a favor, and they reply with, "After everything I've done for you, you can't even do this one thing?" These kinds of comments are designed to make you feel bad, to make you question your decisions, and to push you into doing things you may not want to do. The people who truly care about you will respect your decisions, even if they're disappointed. They won't use guilt as a way to control you or get their way. Instead, they'll understand that you have your own needs and boundaries, and they'll support you in making choices that are right for you. If you find yourself constantly feeling guilty in a relationship, take a step back and evaluate why. Are they genuinely supporting you, or are they using guilt as a way to keep you in line? Remember, you have every right to say no, to prioritize your own needs, and to make decisions without being manipulated by guilt. 10. They don't celebrate your successes. Lastly, let's talk about the people who can't bring themselves to celebrate your successes. Whether it's a big accomplishment or a small victory, the people who truly care about you will be happy for you. They'll cheer you on, share in your excitement, and celebrate your wins. But there are some people who, instead of celebrating with you, seem to resent your success. Maybe you share some good news, and they respond with indifference, or worse, they try to downplay your achievement. Well, that's good, but it's not that impressive. Or perhaps they shift the focus back to themselves, making it clear that they're not interested in celebrating you. This kind of behavior is hurtful because it shows that they're not genuinely happy for you. Instead of uplifting you, they're more interested in making sure they don't feel left behind. The truth is, the people who care about you will celebrate your successes because they love seeing you happy. They won't feel threatened or jealous, they'll be genuinely excited for you. If someone in your life can't celebrate your wins, it's worth considering why that is. Are they unable to be happy for others? Do they feel threatened by your success? Whatever the reason, it's a reflection of their own issues, not of your worth. Surround yourself with people who cheer you on, who are genuinely happy for your successes, and who lift you up. Life is too short to spend it with people who can't celebrate you. You deserve to be around those who see your value, who share in your joy, and who make you feel like your successes matter. If you're enjoying this content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Also, drop a comment below and let us know if you've experienced any of these behaviors in your relationships. Your experiences could help someone else feel less alone. 11. They are dismissive of your boundaries around time and energy. Another behavior that can indicate someone doesn't genuinely care about you is when they are dismissive of your boundaries around time and energy. Everyone has a limited amount of both, and it's especially true as we get older. We have to be careful about where we spend our time and how we use our energy to ensure we are looking after our own health and well-being. When someone doesn't respect those boundaries, it can feel exhausting and can make you feel like your needs aren't being considered. Maybe you've clearly communicated that you need some time for yourself, time to rest, recharge, or focus on things that are important to you, but the person in question just doesn't seem to understand or respect that. They keep pushing, asking for your time, or demanding your attention despite what you've already communicated. It's as if your time is less valuable than theirs, and they expect you to put their needs above your own. It could be something as simple as always insisting on meeting at times that are inconvenient for you or expecting you to drop everything whenever they need something. This behavior can be draining, and over time, it leaves you feeling like you're constantly running on empty. It's important to recognize that your time and energy are precious. You deserve to spend them on things that bring you joy, fulfillment, and peace, not on people who refuse to acknowledge your needs. People who genuinely care about you will respect your boundaries around time and energy. They'll understand when you need to take a step back and won't push you to give more than you have to offer. They value your well-being, and they'll encourage you to take care of yourself, even if it means saying no to them. If someone in your life refuses to acknowledge your boundaries, it's worth reevaluating that relationship and considering whether it's truly healthy for you. 12. They are overly critical. Another behavior that can be a red flag is when someone is overly critical of you. Constructive criticism, given in the right spirit and with care, can be helpful. It can help us grow, learn, and improve. But there's a difference between constructive criticism and relentless negativity. When someone is constantly criticizing you, pointing out your flaws, and making you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough, it's not about helping you grow, it's about controlling you or making you feel small. These people might disguise their criticism as just being honest or trying to help you, but if the feedback is constant, harsh, and makes you feel worse about yourself, then it's not truly coming from a place of care. It's meant to bring you down, to make you question yourself, and to keep you in a place of self-doubt. Over time, these criticisms can have a profound impact on your self-esteem and make you feel like you're never enough. It's important to recognize the difference between someone who is genuinely trying to help you and someone who is using criticism as a way to control you. People who care about you will offer feedback in a way that's constructive, kind, and meant to support your growth. They'll do it because they want to see you succeed and because they value you. They won't make you feel like you're always falling short, and they certainly won't use criticism to make you feel inferior. If someone in your life is overly critical, take a step back and evaluate the relationship. Ask yourself how their words make you feel and whether their feedback is truly helpful. If it's not, it may be time to set boundaries with them or distance yourself. Your self-worth is too important to let anyone tear it down. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who offer constructive support, and who see the best in you, even as you work on improving yourself. 13. They are unreliable when you need them. Another key behavior to watch out for is unreliability. We all have moments when we need a little extra support, whether it's emotional, practical, or just knowing that someone is there for us. People who genuinely care about you will be there when you need them. They'll make an effort to show up, to offer their support, and to be present in your life. But those who don't truly care will often be unreliable, especially when you're the one in need. Maybe they make promises that they never keep. Perhaps they say they'll be there to help, but when the time comes, they're nowhere to be found. Or maybe they always have an excuse: they're too busy, something came up, or they just forgot. These kinds of behaviors are frustrating and hurtful because they show that the person isn't truly prioritizing your well-being. They're not willing to put in the effort to be there for you, even when you need them most. Reliability is a fundamental part of any healthy relationship. It's about knowing that you can count on the people in your life, that they'll be there when they say they will, and that they care enough to follow through. If someone is consistently unreliable, it's a clear sign that they're not invested in the relationship in the same way you are. The people who truly care about you will make the effort to be there. They won't always be perfect, we all have our limitations, but they'll try. They'll show up, they'll follow through on their promises, and they'll make sure you know that you can rely on them. If someone is consistently letting you down, it's worth reconsidering how much energy you're putting into that relationship. You deserve to have people in your life who are dependable, who value your time and your trust, and who make you feel secure. 14. They downplay your achievements. Another behavior that's important to recognize is when someone downplays your achievements. We all have moments in our lives that we're proud of, whether it's a big accomplishment or a small personal victory. These moments are worth celebrating, and the people who care about you will share in your excitement and pride. But those who don't genuinely care may try to downplay your achievements or make you feel like they're not a big deal. Maybe you've worked hard to accomplish something, and instead of celebrating with you, they respond with indifference or dismissiveness. That's nice, but it's not that impressive. Or perhaps they try to shift the focus away from you, making it clear that they're not interested in recognizing your success. This kind of behavior can be incredibly hurtful because it shows that they're not invested in your happiness or success. People who care about you will be happy for you when you succeed. They'll celebrate your achievements, big or small, and they'll make you feel proud of what you've accomplished. They won't try to minimize your successes or make you feel like they're unimportant. If someone in your life consistently downplays your achievements, it's a sign that they're not truly supportive of you. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who celebrate your victories, and who make you feel proud of the things you've worked for. You deserve to be around those who see your value and who are genuinely happy to see you succeed. Life is too short to spend it with people who can't share in your joy. 15. They make you feel guilty for having boundaries. Lastly, let's talk about people who make you feel guilty for having boundaries. Boundaries are an essential part of maintaining healthy relationships and protecting your own well-being. They're not about shutting people out, they're about creating a safe space for yourself and ensuring that your needs are respected. But some people will try to make you feel guilty for setting those boundaries, as if you're doing something wrong by prioritizing your own well-being. Maybe you've told someone that you need space, and they respond by saying, "I can't believe you would do this to me," or "I guess you don't care about me anymore." These kinds of comments are designed to make you feel bad, to make you question your boundaries, and to push you into putting their needs above your own. It's a form of emotional manipulation, and it's not okay. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They'll understand that you need to take care of yourself, and they won't try to make you feel guilty for doing so. They'll honor your needs, even if it means they don't get what they want. If someone in your life is making you feel guilty for setting boundaries, it's worth taking a step back and evaluating whether that relationship is truly healthy for you. Remember, you have every right to set boundaries and to protect your own well-being. You deserve to be in relationships where your needs are respected and where you feel safe to prioritize yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. Your well-being is important, and the people who care about you will recognize and honor that. 16. They rarely apologize or take responsibility. One of the clearest signs that someone doesn't genuinely care about you is their inability or unwillingness to apologize or take responsibility for their actions. We all make mistakes, it's part of being human. But what matters is how we handle those mistakes. When someone truly cares about you, they're willing to own up to their actions, acknowledge when they've hurt you, and make an effort to make things right. They value the relationship enough to put their pride aside and prioritize your feelings. On the other hand, there are people who refuse to apologize, even when they're clearly in the wrong. They might deflect, make excuses, or even try to blame you for their behavior. Instead of acknowledging your hurt, they'll say things like, "I'm sorry you feel that way," which isn't a real apology. It shifts the blame onto you and avoids taking any real responsibility for their actions. This kind of behavior shows a lack of empathy and a refusal to be accountable, which can be incredibly damaging in any relationship. The inability to apologize creates an environment where your feelings are consistently dismissed. You're left feeling like your hurt doesn't matter, and over time, it can cause deep emotional wounds. People who care about you will recognize when they've hurt you, and they'll make an effort to understand your perspective. They won't be perfect, no one is, but they'll be willing to take responsibility for their actions and work towards making things better. If you find yourself in a relationship where apologies are rare or non-existent, it's worth reflecting on what that means for your emotional well-being. You deserve to be in relationships where your feelings are validated and where the other person is willing to take responsibility when they've done something wrong. It's a fundamental part of building trust and maintaining a healthy connection. 17. They use your vulnerabilities against you. Another toxic behavior to be aware of is when someone uses your vulnerabilities against you. Vulnerability is a beautiful thing, it's what allows us to connect with others on a deep, meaningful level. When you open up to someone about your fears, your insecurities, or your past, you're placing a great deal of trust in them. You're letting them see parts of you that you might not show to just anyone. People who genuinely care about you will honor that trust and treat your vulnerabilities with respect and care. Unfortunately, there are people who will take those moments of vulnerability and use them against you. Maybe you've shared a fear or an insecurity, and later, in an argument, they throw it back in your face. No wonder you're always worried about that, you're just too sensitive. Or perhaps they use your past mistakes as a way to manipulate or control you, making you feel like you're never allowed to move on or grow from them. This kind of behavior is deeply damaging because it turns what should be a foundation of trust into a weapon that's used to hurt you. When someone uses your vulnerabilities against you, it's a sign that they don't truly value your trust or care about your well-being. Instead of lifting you up, they're trying to bring you down and maintain power over you. It's important to protect yourself from this kind of emotional manipulation. Your vulnerabilities are not weaknesses, they're a testament to your courage and openness. You deserve to be around people who see that and treat your openness with the respect it deserves. If someone in your life is using your vulnerabilities against you, it's time to set boundaries. You don't have to continue sharing with someone who weaponizes your emotions. Seek out relationships where your trust is honored, where your fears and insecurities are met with compassion, and where you feel safe to be yourself without fear of judgment or retaliation. 18. They are jealous or competitive. Jealousy and competitiveness can also be clear indicators that someone doesn't genuinely care about you. Healthy relationships are built on mutual support, respect, and a desire to see each other succeed. When someone is truly in your corner, they'll celebrate your victories and be happy for your successes, no matter how big or small. But when someone is jealous or competitive, it's a sign that they're more focused on themselves than on supporting you. Maybe you've achieved something you're proud of, a personal goal, a professional milestone, or even just something that brings you joy, and instead of being happy for you, they respond with resentment or dismissiveness. Well, it's not that big of a deal, or I could have done that if I wanted to. These kinds of comments can be incredibly hurtful because they show that the person isn't interested in celebrating your happiness. Instead, they're more concerned with how your success makes them feel, inadequate, threatened, or envious. In some cases, jealousy can even lead to sabotage. They might try to undermine your efforts, discourage you from pursuing your goals, or make you feel guilty for wanting more for yourself. This kind of behavior is toxic because it creates an environment where you feel like you have to downplay your achievements or shrink yourself to make the other person comfortable. It's exhausting, and it's not how a healthy, supportive relationship should feel. The people who genuinely care about you will want to see you thrive. They'll cheer you on, encourage you to reach your goals, and celebrate your successes with genuine joy. They won't feel threatened by your happiness because they know that your success doesn't diminish their own worth. If someone in your life is consistently jealous or competitive, it's worth reconsidering how much space they occupy in your world. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, not those who try to bring you down. 19. They constantly shift the blame. Another behavior that's important to recognize is when someone constantly shifts the blame onto others. In any relationship, conflicts and misunderstandings are bound to happen. What's important is how those situations are handled. When someone genuinely cares about you, they're willing to take responsibility for their part in a conflict. They'll listen to your perspective, acknowledge their mistakes, and work with you to find a resolution. However, there are people who refuse to take any responsibility for their actions. Whenever something goes wrong, it's always someone else's fault. They might twist the situation to make you feel like you're to blame, even when it's clear that they're the one who made a mistake. This kind of behavior is not only frustrating, but it's also emotionally draining. It creates an environment where you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of being blamed for something that isn't your fault. People who care about you will be willing to own up to their mistakes. They won't try to make you feel guilty for things that aren't your responsibility, and they won't shift the blame to avoid accountability. Instead, they'll work with you to find a solution and make things right. If someone in your life is constantly shifting the blame, it's a sign that they're not interested in taking responsibility for their actions, and it may be time to reconsider the relationship. 20. They ignore your emotional needs. Lastly, let's talk about the people who ignore your emotional needs. Emotional needs are an essential part of any healthy relationship. We all need to feel heard, understood, and supported by the people we care about. When someone genuinely cares about you, they'll make an effort to understand your emotions, to be there for you when you need them, and to offer their support in meaningful ways. But there are people who simply ignore your emotional needs. Maybe you've expressed that you're feeling down or anxious, and instead of offering support, they change the subject or dismiss your feelings. "You're always so emotional," or "I don't have time for this right now." These kinds of responses make you feel like your emotions aren't valid or important, and over time, they can leave you feeling isolated and unheard. People who ignore your emotional needs are not invested in your well-being. They're not interested in being there for you when you're struggling, and they don't value the emotional connection that makes relationships meaningful. It's important to surround yourself with people who care about your emotional health, who are willing to listen, and who offer their support without judgment or dismissal. If you find that someone in your life consistently ignores your emotional needs, it's worth reflecting on how that relationship is affecting you. You deserve to be in relationships where your emotions are valued, where you feel heard, and where you know that the other person genuinely cares about your well-being. Emotional support is not a luxury, it's a fundamental part of any healthy, loving relationship. That concludes part 5 of our exploration into behaviors that show someone may not truly care about you. We've covered the importance of taking responsibility, respecting vulnerabilities, celebrating successes, acknowledging emotional needs, and avoiding toxic blame games. Remember, recognizing these behaviors is the first step toward protecting your emotional health and surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care. 21. You can't change others, but you can choose who you let in. One of the harshest truths we face as we age is the realization that we can't change other people. No matter how much we care about them, no matter how much we want to help them see the world differently, the reality is, you cannot change someone who doesn't want to change. This is especially true when it comes to relationships, whether they're romantic, familial, or friendships. As we go through life, we often believe that with enough love, patience, and effort, we can somehow fix people. We think that if we show them the right way, they'll see the value of a relationship built on mutual respect, understanding, and effort. But here's the thing, people change when they want to change, and not a moment before. If someone is not ready to recognize their flaws, take responsibility for their actions, or put in the effort required to build a healthy, balanced relationship, no amount of effort on your part will make them do so. This realization can be heartbreaking, especially when you've invested so much of yourself in someone you care about. The desire to fix them can consume you, leading you to invest more time, energy, and emotional resources than you should. You might find yourself sacrificing your own well-being to make things work, convinced that your love will be the key to unlocking their growth. But the truth is, the only person you can truly change is yourself. As we grow older, we begin to recognize that our time, energy, and love are valuable resources. And while it's incredibly tempting to try and save those we care about, it's also essential to understand that we have the right to protect our energy and focus on relationships that are mutually supportive. We can only give so much of ourselves before we start to feel depleted. And when you give and the other person never reciprocates, it leaves you emotionally bankrupt. One of the hardest parts of this is realizing that some people are not capable or willing to offer you the same level of commitment or care. These people may genuinely care about you, but they might not have the emotional tools to show it. They may not recognize the impact of their actions or how their behavior affects you. And that's okay, but it doesn't mean you should continue to sacrifice yourself in the hopes that they'll change. In the past, you may have stayed in relationships because you believe that with enough time, the other person would eventually come around. Maybe you believe that if you loved them enough, they would realize how much you were there for them, and they would return the favor. But you've probably learned by now that love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. The reality is that relationships require more than just love. They require effort, respect, understanding, and a willingness to grow together. If only one person is putting in the work, it's not a partnership, it's a one-sided effort. And eventually, that imbalance will take its toll on you, leaving you feeling tired, frustrated, and unappreciated. So, instead of wasting your energy trying to change others, focus on the relationships where mutual respect and understanding already exist. Invest in people who are ready to meet you where you are, people who will show up for you in the same way you show up for them. These are the relationships that are worth your time and energy. These are the people who will lift you up, not drag you down. Another important realization as you get older is that you have the power to choose who you let into your life. In the past, you may have felt obligated to keep certain people around because they were family, old friends, or people you had known for years. But as you grow, you realize that you have every right to set boundaries with anyone who doesn't add value to your life, regardless of their relationship to you. In fact, the ability to set boundaries is one of the most empowering things you can do. Boundaries are not about shutting people out, they're about protecting your peace and well-being. Boundaries allow you to decide what behavior is acceptable and what is not. They give you the freedom to distance yourself from toxic people, whether they are family, friends, or even romantic partners. It's not easy to let go of relationships, especially if they've been a part of your life for a long time. But staying in unhealthy relationships only prolongs your suffering and prevents you from experiencing the peace that comes with surrounding yourself with people who genuinely care for you. People who respect your boundaries, who listen to your needs, and who are willing to grow with you. These are the relationships that will bring joy, not pain. Over time, you'll start to notice a significant shift in your emotional energy when you begin choosing your relationships more carefully. You'll feel less drained, more energized, and more content. You'll realize that your time is better spent with people who uplift you, rather than those who bring you down. This shift is liberating, and it will open up space for deeper, more meaningful connections. It's also important to remember that sometimes letting go of someone doesn't mean you no longer care for them. You might still love them, but you recognize that for your own well-being, you need to step back. This doesn't mean you're abandoning them, it means you're choosing to take care of yourself, which is something we all need to prioritize. You can love someone from afar, without allowing their negativity or toxicity to continue impacting your life. In the end, the most powerful choice you can make is to take control of your own emotional health. Let go of relationships that no longer serve you, set boundaries where necessary, and surround yourself with people who appreciate you for who you are. Trust that by doing so, you will attract the kind of relationships that will nourish and support you in ways that you deserve. As we wrap up, I want to remind you of something incredibly important: you have the power to choose who you let into your life. The people you surround yourself with can either uplift you or drain you, so choose wisely. Focus on building connections that are based on mutual respect, love, and support. If you're tired of feeling drained, of always giving without receiving, take a moment to step back and reflect on the relationships that truly matter. Let go of the ones that don't contribute to your happiness and well-being, and make room for those who do. Now, if you enjoyed today's video and feel inspired, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more content that can help you live your best life. And don't forget to turn on notifications, so you never miss a new video. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.